Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking your sources, this fantastic stack of articles, research notes, and we're plunging right in.
Sounds good.
Our focus, a symbol that's, well, everywhere. Ancient, modern, sometimes loved, sometimes not so much. The black cat.
Yes.
So when you picture a black cat, what's the very first thing that springs to mind for you? Is it mystery? Maybe that flash of bad luck? Or, good fortune? Or is it's just way more complicated than that?
It's definitely complicated. They carry such an incredible weight of human projection, don't they?
They really do.
And this deep dive, it's really designed to unpack that, to unravel this really dense, often contradictory web of symbolism that surrounds black cats. We want to trace their journey, across different cultures through history.
Right.
Our goal isn't just to, skim the surface of what people think.
Yeah, the pop culture stuff.
Exactly. We want to dig deeper, get into the facts, the folklore, even the science and ancient myths that really define these, well, enigmatic creatures.
And you've given us an amazing collection of material to work with. I mean, everything from ancient Egyptian connections to modern studies on pet
I've
adoption.
tried to cover the bases.
So our mission today is to sift through all of this, pull out the most important insights, the key takeaways, so that you, listening, can walk away feeling genuinely well-versed in the whole captivating story of the black cat.
And what's truly striking, I think, is how this one creature, so common, so seemingly ordinary, can mean such wildly different things,
Yeah.
sometimes even at the same time, in the same place. How can it be revered as a goddess in one context and then, feared as a witch's sidekick in another? That incredible duality, that paradox, that's exactly what we're going to explore meticulously.
That's such a powerful point. It really shows how tangled our own stories, our human stories are with these animals. But it also makes me think, and when we look at these historical narratives, these superstitions, is there a danger of maybe simplifying why people believe these things?
That's a fair question. It's complex.
Because understanding these historical perspectives, these cultural views, it doesn't just shed light on, our relationship with animals over time.
Right.
It also kind of holds up a mirror, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To our own deeper human tendencies, storytelling, fear, reverence,
Yeah.
superstition itself.
Absolutely. It's as much about us as it is about the cats.
It really is. It's a
Yeah.
journey into feline history, sure, but also definitely into our collective human psychology. The global tapestry of black cat symbolism. A tale of two fortunes. Okay, so let's start weaving through this global tapestry, the black cat symbolism. It's really, as you said, a tale of two completely different fortunes, depending on where and when you look. Let's begin with the one most of us probably know best, at least in the West, the whole bad luck connection. It just has such a strong grip, doesn't it?
It really does. That common idea. Black cat crosses your path. Uh-oh, bad luck's coming.
Right. And it's so ingrained. You mentioned this great example from Russia. If friends have a falling out, they might say.
A black cat has run between them. Yeah. It's a metaphor for discord, using that very image.
Wow. So it's really embedded in the language and the culture.
It's burrowed deep into the collective subconscious, absolutely. And, while a lot of people today might laugh it off, say it's just old folklore or something for Halloween, there's still a very real, sort of lingering stigma. Our sources show this subtle influence is still felt, particularly among, say, older generations in places like Russia, Poland, Italy, Turkey.
Okay.
But even younger folks, maybe they don't consciously believe the superstition,
Right.
but they might still have a kind of subconscious wariness or just a less positive feeling about black cats because these cultural ideas are just everywhere.
I read that Reddit comment you highlighted
Yeah.
about the vet saying the superstition is alive and well. That's pretty sobering.
It is, and it's
Yeah.
echoed by shelter volunteers all the time.
And that's where it gets really, really tough. Because it's not just some abstract idea.
Yeah.
It has heartbreaking, real-world consequences for the animals themselves. Black cats consistently face longer stays in shelters. They have lower adoption rates compared to other cats.
Much lower, often.
It's so common, this problem, that people in animal welfare actually have a name for it, right?
Yeah, it's widely known as black cat syndrome, or sometimes black dog syndrome for dogs. Same issue.
It's this modern mess where old myths, practical problems, even subtle psychology all sort of pile up.
And studies back this up. Even if people say, oh, I don't believe in bad luck, the cultural baggage still paints this less favorable picture.
So people might subconsciously see them as less friendly, maybe more aggressive.
Exactly. Or just less appealing somehow. They may not even know why they feel that way, just a sort of general vibe.
The statistics really paint a picture, don't they?
Yeah.
Often the last adopted and the first overlooked.
It's a huge challenge for adoption centers, and the reasons, like you said, go beyond just the old superstitions.
Yeah, you mentioned the photography issue.
Right. It sounds trivial, maybe, but it's a big deal. Their dark fur is just notoriously hard to photograph well for adoption websites or posters.
They end up looking like black blobs with eyes.
That's how some people describe it, yeah. They blend into the background, it washes out their
So
features.
you can't see their personalities easily.
Exactly. They seem less expressive, less engaging in those photos, and that matters when someone's scrolling through dozens of potential pets online.
And then there's the irony of them being seen as too common.
Right. Because shelters often have more black cats, partly due to genetics, but also because they're adopted less often. People sometimes overlook them, looking for something they see as more unique.
Wow. So our biases, even the ones we don't realize we have, they have these tangible, sometimes really tragic effects. It's about the cats, but it's also about our own unexamined assumptions.
Precisely.
But here's where the story flips completely, right? This is what's so fascinating. We pivot, and suddenly, in many, many other parts of the world,
Totally a different story.
black cats aren't bad luck at all. They're seen as powerful signs of good fortune, prosperity, even protection.
Absolutely. The cultural contrast is amazing. Take Japan, for example.
Okay.
Far from being feared, black cats there are revered. They're symbols of good luck, wealth. They're believed to ward off evil spirits, bring prosperity.
And that little beckoning cat figurine,
Yeah.
the Maneki-neko.
Exactly, the Maneki-neko. While you often see white ones, the black version is specifically treasured for bringing good luck, protection against misfortune, and even helping with financial success.
And we see that in pop culture too, like Gigi from Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yes, Gigi was such a great example. Charming, loyal companion, represents that supportive, almost magical side of black cats in Japanese culture.
Okay, so Japan loves them. What about somewhere like Scotland?
Also, good luck. In Scottish folklore, if a black cat shows up on your doorstep,
Not a bad omen.
quite the opposite. It's seen as a sign that wealth and prosperity are coming to that household. Yeah, and apparently if it arrives from the right-hand side, that's considered especially lucky. Even better fortune.
Huh. That's a world away from the crossing your path fear.
It really is. And similarly, in British and Irish traditions, black cats are generally good luck symbols.
Protectors.
Protectors, yeah. Against evil spirits, misfortune. Guardians of the home. And think about sailors and fishermen.
Ah, right. Dangerous profession.
Exactly. Facing the perils of the sea, British and Irish sailors traditionally cherished black cats. They were seen as essential crew members, basically,
For good luck and safety.
potent harbingers of good fortune and, crucially, safety. They were like mascots for survival, kept on ships to ensure a safe voyage and return.
That makes sense. And going way back, we have to talk about ancient Egypt, right? The original cat lovers?
Oh, absolutely. Their reverence was on another level, particularly for black cats.
Associated with a goddess.
Yes, the powerful goddess Bastet. She represented love, fertility, the home, protection, and black cats were seen as her living embodiment.
Not just a symbol, but actually her.
A literal representation, yeah. So they were treated with immense respect, harming one even by accident,
Great trouble.
punishable by death. They believed these sacred animals brought blessings and actively kept evil away.
Wow. Okay, so Egypt, Britain, Ireland, Scotland, Japan.
Hmm.
All positive. Any other variations? You mentioned Germany.
Germany has a nuanced one.
Mm.
It's not just black cat, good, bad. It depends on the direction it crosses your path.
Oh, how does that work?
If it crosses from right to left, that might be seen as unlucky. But if it crosses from left to right,
Good luck.
that's considered a sign of good things coming your way. So even within Western Europe, it wasn't always a simple negative association.
That's interesting. And there's a really powerful story from Wales, too, isn't there? The Kidwelly cat.
Ah, yes, a truly inspiring legend. According to the story, this one black cat was the only survivor of the Black Death in its town, Kidwelly.
The only survivor. Wow.
Amidst all that death and despair, this cat's resilience completely shifted how people saw them locally,
So it went from being potentially feared?
to becoming this potent symbol of hope, survival, resilience. Not an omen of doom, but the opposite.
That's incredible. It really shows how these cultural meanings aren't fixed. They can change based on events, on stories.
Absolutely. It challenges the whole idea that symbolism is static,
Yeah.
tracing the shadows, the historical roots of negative associations.
Okay, so it's clear black cats have this dual identity, good luck here, bad luck there. But how did those negative ideas, the ones so common in the West, get so deeply rooted? Let's trace those shadows back, starting in medieval Europe. There was a specific moment, wasn't there?
There really was a pivotal and frankly devastating event in the 13th century. June 13th, 1233 to be exact. Pope Gregory the Next issued a papal bull, a formal church decree called Vox in Rama.
Vox in Rama, and what did it say?
Well, it was primarily aimed at what the church saw as a Luciferian cult in Germany, but critically it explicitly declared black cats to be an incarnation of Satan.
Whoa, not just bad luck, but literally satanic.
Exactly. And this wasn't just some theological document filed away. It was a religious condemnation that had horrific real-world consequences. It essentially lit the fuse for widespread fear and persecution.
And this directly connects to the witch hunts, right?
Absolutely. This decree didn't just spark fear, it actively fueled the brutal witch hunts that swept across Europe for centuries. Cats, especially black ones, became viewed as direct threats to the authority of the early Christian church.
And they were lumped in with women accused of witchcraft.
Yes. Both groups were perceived, often by the male church hierarchy, as exhibiting, quote, a healthy disrespect for authority. They were seen as challenging the established patriarchal order, the religious dogma. It created this toxic mix of religious fear, misogyny, and a desire for social control.
What were the specific beliefs about cats and witches?
The ideas were really potent. Black cats were widely believed to be familiars,
Familiars meeting.
demonic spirits, essentially. Helpers or servants that assisted witches in performing dark rituals, acting as conduits for magic. Or, even more terrifyingly, they were thought to be the witches themselves, just in disguise. Shapeshifters who could move between human and feline form.
Like in the Celtic traditions you mentioned.
Exactly. Some Celtic folklore held that people practicing dark magic could literally be turned into cats, maybe as punishment or as a way to hide. So this dual identity, familiar and potential shapeshifter, really cemented the black cat's role as something supernatural and deeply threatening in the medieval mindset.
And then came the Black Plague. And this incredibly tragic, ironic twist.
Oh, it's almost unbelievable. During the worst centuries of the bubonic plague, as it ravaged Europe,
Killing millions.
black cats were somehow blamed for spreading it, with absolutely devastating, misguided conviction.
So people started killing them, believing it would stop the plague.
Yes, it led to widespread, often systematic mass killings of cats, especially black ones, driven by this desperate but completely wrong belief that getting rid of the cats would get rid of the disease.
But the irony is,
The irony is catastrophic. By drastically reducing the cat population, who were, of course, highly effective rodent hunters, they removed a natural predator of rats.
and the rats were the real problem.
The rats were carrying the plague-infected fleas, the actual vectors of the disease. So this ill-conceived plan, as one source put it,
It backfired spectacularly.
completely backfired. It allowed rat populations to explode, which inadvertently fueled the spread of the plague, making an already horrific situation even worse. It's such a stark lesson in the danger of superstition driving public action.
A truly profound mistake with horrifying consequences. And this fear, this deep-seated superstition, it didn't just stay in Europe, did it?
No, it packed its bags, so to speak. It crossed the Atlantic with the Puritan colonists.
Bringing those fears to the New World.
Absolutely. The Puritan worldview, with its intense religious fervor and deep suspicion of anything potentially unholy, was fertile ground for these fears.
So the Salem witch trials, cats were involved there too.
Oh, definitely. During the Salem trials in the 17th century, black cats were frequently brought up as evidence, seen as undeniable signs of evil, of witchcraft.
So owning one or even having one nearby.
Could put you under immediate suspicion. People who owned black cats, or were simply associated with them, often faced intense scrutiny, accusations, and persecution. It really shows how deeply those old world fears had taken root.
And over time, that specific fear, the cat as a witch's familiar or the devil, it sort of evolved, right, into the more general superstition.
Yeah, it morphed into that more common idea. A black cat crossing your path simply means bad luck is coming. But the root was still that fear, the fear it might be a witch's agent or the devil himself in disguise sent to cause trouble.
And this persisted even into the Renaissance.
Yes, the belief lingered that encountering a black cat or having one hang around your house might mean a witch had sent it specifically to harm you. It became an omen, a sign of unseen danger.
And then literature steps in. Edgar Allan Poe.
Ugh, Poe. His short story, The Black Cat, published in 1843. It had a massive impact. One source even says it changed the course of black cat cultural awareness.
Cementing that dark image.
Absolutely. And what's fascinating is Poe himself apparently liked cats. He had one he cherished.
But in the story,
In the story, the black cat, Pluto, becomes this figure of escalating menace. Not a comfort, but a catalyst for the narrator's complete psychological unraveling.
he used it symbolically then,
For
to explore the narrator's darkness.
masterfully. The cat becomes a mirror reflecting the narrator's descent into guilt, alcoholism, isolation, insanity.
How does that play out? Like the eye gouging scene.
That's a key moment. It's brutal, yes, but symbolically you can read it as the narrator deliberately blinding himself to his own conscience, his own vision of moral goodness, as one analysis puts it. He's mutilating his own soul as he harms the cat.
And the story's plot is just relentless.
It really is. The narrator starts as this gentle guy, loves animals, then alcohol takes over, he abuses Pluto, gouges the eye, eventually hangs the poor cat.
Then the fire.
Right after, his house burns down, leaving only one wall standing with the perfect outline of a hanged cat burned into it, a physical mark of his guilt.
Chilling.
Then he finds another black cat, almost identical, also missing an eye, but this one has a white patch on its chest. He takes it in, but starts to hate it irrationally.
And it leads to worse violence.
In a rage, trying to kill the second cat, he ends up murdering his wife when she intervenes. He hides her body in the cellar wall.
And the cat.
He accidentally walls the cat in with the body. When the police come to investigate, they're about to leave, but then they hear this horrifying shriek from inside the wall. The cat reveals his crime. It's this perfect, awful cycle of guilt and retribution.
Poe wasn't just writing horror, was he? It's deep psychology.
Absolutely. He's dissecting the psychology of guilt, exploring what he called the perverseness of human nature, that weird impulse to do wrong because it's wrong.
Like the narrator's own self-destruction.
Exactly. And that white patch on the second cat. Poe describes it slowly, maybe supernaturally, taking the shape of the gallows.
Oh.
It's this constant visual reminder of the narrator's guilt, his impending doom, a symbol of the fate he's bringing upon himself.
It reminds me of The Telltale Heart, too. That same theme of guilt betraying the criminal.
Very similar explorations of guilt, madness, self-betrayal. And interestingly, Poe himself wrote elsewhere, quite plainly, black cats are all of them witches.
Really? He actually said that?
He did, which shows how even literary geniuses weren't immune to the prevailing superstitions and how they helped embed them further in the culture.
And you mentioned the white spot on the second cat resembles something from folklore.
Yeah, the cat Sith from Scottish and Irish myth, those supernatural black cats with a white spot on their chest. It's like Poe was weaving that ancient folklore right into his modern horror story. 3. Modern perceptions. Challenging stereotypes and embracing reality.
So fast forward through all that history, that dark folklore, that powerful literature. How does it all shake out today? We still see the echoes, don't we? Especially with the black cat syndrome in shelters.
We absolutely do. It's a really stark ongoing issue in animal welfare. Black cats are consistently, as we said, the last adopted and the first overlooked.
And that's not just anecdotal.
No, studies confirm it time and again. They spend significantly longer waiting in shelters, have demonstrably lower adoption rates than cats of other colors. It's a persistent bias that directly affects their chances of finding a home. It shows how deep these subconscious ideas run.
And the reasons are layered. There's the hangover from the old superstitions, even if people don't admit it.
That definitely plays a part subconsciously.
But also those practical things we discussed, like the difficulty photographing them well.
Right, that black blob with eyes problem in adoption listings. It sounds superficial, but it makes a real difference when people are choosing visually.
Making them seem less expressive, harder to connect with initially.
Exactly. And then there's that weird paradox of them being seen as too common.
Because there are often more of them in shelters due to the lower adoption rates.
Precisely. So people looking for a special cat might pass them by, ironically contributing to the problem.
It even affects shelter policy sometimes, right? Like around Halloween.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Some shelters pause black cat adoptions around Halloween.
To protect them.
The intention is good, yes, to prevent them from being adopted for cruel pranks or, supposed rituals.
But the downside?
The downside is it unintentionally reinforces the idea that black cats are somehow different, more at risk, more tied to spooky things. It can stigmatize them further even while trying to keep them safe. It's a real ethical tightrope for shelters.
Definitely a tough call. Now, outside of shelters, pop culture plays a really interesting role here, too. It kind of cuts both ways, doesn't it? Reinforcing old ideas sometimes, but also helping to change them.
It really does. On one hand, you have some beloved characters who, well, still sort of lean into the old tropes.
Like Thackeray Binks from Hocus Pocus.
Exactly. Great character, very sympathetic, but fundamentally he's a boy cursed by witches and trapped in a cat's body for centuries.
So, still linked to witchcraft.
Still that connection, yeah, even if it's presented more sympathetically. And then there's Salem Saberhagen from Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Hilarious character.
Absolutely hilarious, but again, he's a powerful witch who was turned into a cat as punishment for trying to take over the world. So magic, mischief, punishment, it's all still there.
Even in sports. The Chicago Cubs story.
Oh yeah, that's a classic bit of modern folklore. The story goes that a black cat ran onto the field, crossed near the Cubs dugout during a crucial series in 1969.
And they ended up losing badly.
Yep, contributing to their long curse. It became this legendary example, perpetuating the whole black cat bad luck thing in a very public way.
Thankfully, there's a strong countercurrent, too. Pop culture is also giving us much more positive images.
Definitely. Think about Hayao Miyazaki's Kiki's Delivery Service and Gigi.
Such a great character.
Gigi is portrayed as, charming, maybe a bit sarcastic depending on the dub, but ultimately loyal, humble, careful. He's Kiki's companion, representing her more cautious, maybe immature side as she grows up. It's warm, full of personality, completely non-malevolent.
A huge contrast to Poe's Pluto.
Absolutely. And then there's Luna from Sailor Moon.
An icon.
Totally iconic. Sweet, polite, proper, but also incredibly brave. She's an advisor, a protector, a strategist.
These characters really push back against the stereotypes.
They do. They offer generations positive models of black cats as loyal, intelligent, even magically helpful companions. And more recently, think about Black Panther.
The movie. How did that affect things?
The huge success of the 2018 film actually led to a noticeable increase, a kind of fad in people wanting to adopt black cats.
Really? Named T'Challa and Shuri.
Exactly. Shelters reported a definite uptick in interest. They had to be careful, of course, to make sure the adoptions were responsible and not just impulsive.
Right.
But it showed how a powerful, positive cultural moment could suddenly make black cats highly desirable.
And social media must be playing a huge role now, too.
Oh, massively. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, they're crucial. Black cat owners share endless photos, videos, showcasing their cats' personalities.
Showing the reality, not the myth.
Exactly, sharing those joyful experiences, showing how loving and affectionate these cats are. It directly combats the negative stereotypes by offering relatable, positive, everyday images. It really helps people see them as individuals, as potential pets, and encourages adoption.
Okay, so we have the cultural history, the pop culture influences. But there's actual science looking into this bias too, like that Psychology Today research.
Yes, they specifically tried to figure out why people hold these negative perceptions, even today.
And what did they find? Was it just the old superstitions carrying over?
That was part of it, yes. The study found that people did rate black cats as significantly less friendly and more aggressive compared to cats of other colors.
Less friendly and more aggressive.
Okay. And this bias was linked to two main things. First, yes, those lingering superstitious beliefs, even if held unconsciously.
And the second thing, you said it was surprising.
It was quite surprising. It seems to be related to how we perceive them visually. Humans apparently have more difficulty accurately reading the subtle facial expressions of black cats because their dark fur obscures the cues.
Really? So we literally can't read their faces as easily.
That's the idea. This visual ambiguity, this difficulty discerning their mood or intent from their expression might lead to a kind of emotional detachment. We can't connect as easily, so maybe we're more likely to project negative traits onto them.
That's fascinating. So it's not just culture. There might be a subtle perceptual thing going on too.
It seems plausible based on this research.
And did the study look at other potential reasons, like religion or other biases?
They did investigate that. And importantly, the study found no statistical link between black cat bias and factors like religiosity or broader racial bias.
Okay, so it wasn't related to those things in this study.
No, it really zeroed in on the power of the historical superstitions and this potential issue with interpreting facial cues on dark fur,
Yeah.
understanding superstition, an evolutionary perspective.
Okay, this whole discussion about bias,
Mhm.
about why we perceive black cats negatively sometimes, it leads to a bigger question, doesn't it?
Mm.
Why do we have superstitions at all?
Mm-hmm.
And the evolutionary perspective you mentioned is really mind-bending. The idea that superstition isn't just irrational, but could actually be adaptive.
It's a core concept in evolutionary biology, yeah.
Yeah.
It seems counterintuitive, but natural selection can favor strategies that often result in what we call type I errors.
Type I error.
Yeah,
That's believing something false, like believing a black cat is bad luck when it isn't.
exactly. Believing a falsehood. Selection can favor making those mistakes if the cost of making the opposite mistake, a type 2 error, is high enough.
And a type 2 error is rejecting something true.
Right, especially rejecting a truth about a real danger, like ignoring a sign that a predator might be nearby.
So it's better to be safe than, sorry, evolutionarily speaking.
Pretty much. It's like a biological version of Pascal's wager, as you drew the parallel earlier.
Right, believing in God just in case he exists, because the payoff is infinite and the cost of believing is small.
Similar logic. An animal might flee from rustling leaves, even if it's usually just the wind. Why?
Because the one time it is a predator, not fleeing means death. The cost of inaction is too high.
Precisely. Evolution optimizes for survival, not perfect logical accuracy. So responding to uncertain events, even low probability ones, gets favored if the potential benefit of getting it right, like escaping that predator, is huge compared to the relatively small cost of a false alarm running from the wind.
So a superstitious reaction, like avoiding the black cat just in case, could be part of a larger, generally successful survival strategy.
That's the evolutionary argument, yes. It's baked into our survival toolkit.
And this also connects to how our brains work, right? Our cognitive limits, the idea of hierarchical uncertainty.
Absolutely. We and other organisms just aren't capable of perfectly calculating the causal probabilities of everything happening around us. There's too much information, too much uncertainty.
So we have to simplify. We have to lump things together.
Exactly. We're forced to lump non-causal associations with causal ones.
Like the example of the prey animal hearing rustling.
Right. It might treat rustling in the grass, high predator risk, and rustling in the trees, low predator risk, as the same signal danger, even though tree rustling is rarely a real threat.
Why?
Because the cost of missing the predator in the grass is so high, it's safer to react to both signals, even if one is usually a false alarm. The inability to perfectly discriminate makes the overreaction adaptive.
And these aren't always things we learn individually. They can be innate.
Many are innate, yes, hardwired through evolution over vast timescales. Think about animals instinctively avoiding brightly colored insects.
Is some are poisonous?
Right. Even if many harmless ones mimic that coloring, Batesian mimicry, the cost of eating a truly poisonous one is too high. So avoid them all. That's a type I error, avoiding harmless ones, being favored to prevent a catastrophic type 2 error, eating a deadly one.
Or even bacteria swimming towards something useless if it often appears near food.
Exactly. It's a strategy that works often enough, even if it's not perfectly rational in every instance.
So what looks like a mistake, a superstition, can actually be part of a successful, evolved survival strategy dealing with an uncertain world.
Precisely. And that means our own human superstitions, even the ancient ones about black cats, might have these incredibly deep adaptive roots. It's not just medieval fear, it could be tapping into something much older, much more fundamental about how life navigates uncertainty.
That really changes how you think about it. It's not just ignorance, it might be evolved caution.
It challenges us to see our irrationality in a different, perhaps more functional light. The iconic black cats, from ancient myth to modern mascot.
Okay, that evolutionary angle is fascinating. But let's shift gears now from the why of belief back to the what, the amazing stories and figures themselves. Black cats are absolutely everywhere in mythology and folklore, aren't they?
Oh, completely. Their presence is global, often linked to power, mystery, the supernatural.
Like in Norse mythology, Freyja.
Yes, the great goddess Freyja associated with love, beauty, war, fertility, magic. Quite a portfolio.
And her chariot?
Pulled by two large, magnificent black cats, sometimes named Beigel and Trejagal. They symbolize her power, her grace, her connection to the mystical, her independence. It's a very regal, powerful image.
Very different from the sneaky witch is familiar.
Worlds apart. Then you have the Celtic cat, Sith.
The one with the white spot.
That's the one. A supernatural black cat with a distinctive white spot on its chest. Believed to be quite sinister, actually.
Sinister? How?
They were said to be able to steal the souls of the dead before the gods could claim them, especially if they passed over a corpse before burial. And also thought to be fairies in disguise, watching humans, sometimes causing trouble. There's that great British folktale, The King o' the Cats.
What happens in that?
A man sees a procession of 9 cat Sith carrying a tiny coffin with a crown on it, and they tell him to inform another cat that the King o' the Cats is dead. It implies this whole hidden world of feline royalty and magic.
Creepy. And from Wales, something even more fearsome. Cath Palug.
Oh yeah, Cath Palug is terrifying. A monstrous, enormous black cat from Welsh legend, said to be born from a giant magical sow.
And it fought warriors.
Fought and killed 180 warriors, according to legend, and in some versions it even kills King Arthur himself.
Whoa. Okay, definitely not a cuddly house cat.
Not even close, a truly destructive force in those tales.
Let's jump over to Thailand. The Chakla.
The Chakla is more ghostly. A matte black cat spirit, blood-red eyes, and its fur supposedly grows backwards.
Backwards fur. That's unsettling.
A clear sign of its unnatural nature. It's said to be controlled by jungle sorcerers, capable of killing with just a look or a touch.
Powerful, but maybe shy.
Ironically, yes. Despite its power, it's described as skittish around humans. There's a story linking it to a child's death from illness after accidental contact, showing the fear it inspired.
Okay, and Iceland. The Yule cat. This one sounds particularly grim.
Jólakötturinn, yes. It's pretty intense. An enormous, monstrous cat belonging to the ogress Grilla.
And it comes at Christmas.
Around Yuletide, yes. It prowls around, sniffing out people who didn't receive new clothes for Christmas, and then it eats them.
Eats them.
Yep. It sounds brutal, but it's served as a strong social incentive. Get your chores done, finish processing the wool from autumn, make sure everyone has new clothes for winter, or the Yule cat will get you. It encouraged productivity and preparation for the harsh winter.
Okay, that's effective, I guess.
What about Sephardic folklore? El Brucha?
El Brucha is tied to Lilith, Adam's first wife in some traditions.
Okay.
She's transformed into this demonic black cat that preys on newborn babies at night, sucking their blood.
Absolutely. And this legend led directly to the custom of never leaving a newborn baby alone for the first 9 days, always having someone guard them against this potential threat.
And closer to modern times, the U.S. Capitol has its own ghost cat.
The demon cat, yes, a famous Washington, D.C. legend, a spectral black cat said to haunt the Capitol building.
When does it appear?
Supposedly right before national tragedies or major political upheavals. Witnesses claim it starts small, then grows to the size of a tiger.
And leaves paw prints?
Giant paw prints in concrete, according to the legend. And encountering it was considered a very bad omen, sometimes linked to the witness's untimely death. A real mix of history and spoopy folklore.
Incredible range of myths. Now, moving from myth to more real world or pop culture figures, we've already hit some big ones. Pluto from Poe's story.
The ultimate symbol of guilt and self-destruction in that context.
Thackeray Binks from Hocus Pocus.
The cursed protector, forever linked to witches, but ultimately heroic.
Luna from Sailor Moon.
Wise, brave, strategic advisor. Definitely a positive force.
Salem from Sabrina.
Sarcastic, power-hungry, but comedic relief. Still a witch-turned-cat.
And Gigi from Kiki.
The loyal, sometimes anxious companion representing Kiki's journey into maturity. They've all shaped how we see black cats in different ways.
But there are real historical cats, too, who became famous. Like Trim.
Yes, Trim, a genuinely adventurous cat. Sailed with Matthew Flinders when he was mapping the coast of Australia in the early 1800s.
Sailed around Australia.
Pretty much. Flinders wrote about him affectionately. Trim was a great companion, an excellent mouser on the ship, and now he's immortalized in statues in Australia and England. A true seafaring cat hero.
Amazing. And Hodge, Dr. Samuel Johnson's cat.
Hodge, yes. Famous mainly because Johnson's biographer, James Boswell, wrote about how much Johnson loved this cat around 1769, fed him oysters, talked to him. It provides this lovely glimpse of affection for a pet cat from a major historical figure.
Shows the bond isn't new.
Not at all. And even today, think of Gladstone.
The Chief Mouser.
Chief Mouser to HM Treasury in the UK. A real working cat in government and quite popular on social media.
And there was a presidential cat, too. India.
India, nicknamed Willie, George W. Bush and Laura Bush's black cat during their time in the White House, just shows cats, including black ones, reaching the highest offices, so to speak.
And then there's some really unexpected symbolism, the anarcho-syndicalist cat.
The sab cat, or sabotabi. Yeah, that's a fascinating one. An image of an alert, arched back, fighting black cat.
Adopted by.
The industrial workers of the world, the IWW, a radical labor union starting way back in the 1880s.
That it symbolizes.
Sabotage, direct action, wildcat strikes, worker solidarity. It's meant to embody a spirit of defiance against bosses and capitalism. A really militant, unexpected use of the black cat image.
Wow. And finally, the space shuttle, defying superstition.
That's a great story. The mission that was originally designated STS-13.
Unlucky number 13.
Right. It was later renamed STS-41C, but the crew decided to have fun with the original unlucky number. They designed a mission patch that prominently featured a black cat arching its back right next to the number 13, also shown breaking a mirror and walking under a ladder.
They leaned right into it.
Completely embraced all the bad luck symbols. And the kicker, the mission was a complete success, and it actually landed.
So tell me.
On Friday the 13th, a perfect, humorous thumbing of the nose at superstition.
Yeah.
Outro.
Wow. What a journey. We've really covered some ground today, haven't we? Millennia, continents, unraveling this incredibly complex, contradictory, but ultimately really rich story of the black cat.
It's been fascinating to trace from being seen as gods.
Right, like with Bastet.
To being feared as devils or witches familiars.
To the medieval panic.
And then circling back, in many ways, to just being cherished companions in our homes today.
It really challenges our assumptions, doesn't it? Because beneath all that folklore, all the superstitions, the layers of cultural meaning.
The reality is pretty simple, isn't it? Black cats are just...
Exactly. As loving, as intelligent, as unique and individual as any cat of any other color. Their dark fur is just genetics. It's beautiful, but it doesn't dictate their personality or their destiny.
It's not an omen, it's just melanin.
Precisely. So what here, the takeaway for you listening?
Yeah.
It really feels like an invitation, doesn't it? To maybe reevaluate any lingering biases, conscious or not, about black cats. To make an effort to see beyond the color, beyond the centuries of stories.
And just appreciate the individual animal.
Yeah. The next time you see a black cat, maybe playing, maybe sleeping in a sunbeam, maybe, yes, even crossing your path, hopefully you'll remember this incredible journey of meaning they carry.
And maybe see them with fresh eyes, with more informed appreciation.
Exactly. With respect for their history, but also just seeing the cat that's right there.
And thinking about this whole deep dive, it does raise a broader question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, if our superstitions about black cats tell us so much about us, about our human tendency to project meaning, to create narratives, sometimes adaptively, like we discussed, sometimes mistakenly, often with real consequences,
Right.
then what other everyday assumptions do we hold? What other things do we just accept as fact without really thinking about where they came from?
Things that might be ripe for their own deep dive.
Exactly. Assumptions that maybe challenge us to look beneath the surface, unpack their origins, and question their validity.
That is a powerful thought to leave things on, a challenge to keep questioning, keep diving deeper. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the truly enigmatic, endlessly fascinating world of the black cat.
Hope you enjoyed it.
We hope you look at these incredible creatures with maybe a little more wonder and definitely a lot more respect.